Hey guys, Dr. Mike from CMI. I want to welcome those of you who've joined me to this Power Talk. Now, this is 12 things that every DC can do in 2019 to not only thrive, but to make your months ultra profitable. Now, the reason I'm sharing with all of you, I have Kevin on, I have Bill on, is I, in some way, some capacity, love to work with chiropractors because I have a knack for building practices. I've never met a chiropractor who didn't want to build a bigger, busier practice. So what I'm about to share with you tonight, everyone, is really after 25 years in the practice of chiropractic and 18, almost 19 years now coaching doctors, there seems to be a trend. There seems to be this common denominator that any DC can actually use. So really what this is, folks, is a checklist. I want you to get pen and paper because I'm going to go through 12 different steps. And if you follow these 12 different steps, I think you're going to see some amazing changes in your practice. So a lot of these techniques, tools are listed in the Pisiform code. I'll explain to you in a little bit how you can get access to this and how you can use this in your practice. But for the most part, this is a formula that I have gleaned over the years and have used quite successfully in my coaching program and with doctors around the world. Dr. Jason Wilson, he's been coaching with me for about 8 years, broke 1.4 million. Now this is an all cash-based practice. He started his second practice and he continues to have yearly growth. Dr. Stu Killian, he's a former client, but when he first started, he started to grow to over 100 new patients and doubled his practice in the first year. Dr. Clayton Roach, he's a legend. He broke 1.4 million and in 2018, 1.6, all cash. So these doctors are trendsetters. Dr. Barry Kluner having over 100,000 in his monthly collections. In the UK, Dr. Simon Goff, best month after best month after best month. Dr. Ron Wagner cut back to 4 days per week and continues to grow. And the legendary Benny Matthew out of the UK, we took his practice and more than tripled it in a few years, and he's become a legend. And he just took everything that I taught, he ran with it, and he built an incredible practice. So what I'm about to share with you are techniques that I have used. This is just a snapshot from my own practice. This is a number of years ago, but you can see here how you can actually see volumes of people. And the techniques that I used then are very similar to techniques that I use now. This is a snapshot of an hour 15. So anyone can see volume or you can see less volume, but it really comes down to, do you want to see more? Do you want to have more? Do you want to be more? And really, this is the techniques that we teach. So I'm going to go through whatever DC needs to do to thrive in 2019. And I'm talking about growing your practice to the point where you could double, triple, even quadruple your volume, your income. Grow at 100,000, grow at 50,000, wherever you want to go, the sky's the limit. So for those of you who are with me tonight, I apologize. I'm a little nasal. I'm just kicking off a flu. I never get sick, but I tell you, this flu hit me. I've been on my back for the last 3 days. I'm just coming around. And, for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, it might sound a little nasal, but my apologies. You'll be able to get the points out. So here's number one, guys. Number one is you have to have an unwavering passion and purpose. There can be no fear. You got to be congruent. What I mean by that, if you're getting adjusted once a week in a wellness-based setting, then your practice should scream wellness-based, and you should be at least advocating once a week to your patients. You've got to have lots of ritual-based beginnings of your day. That's the hour power. That's the workouts, nutrition, the meditation. You've got to be very congruent in how you run your life, live your life, getting weekly adjustments for your patients to understand that. Then you've got to have a very clear life's mission statement, so you're basically unstoppable. And any of those transcending beliefs that you have, those limiting beliefs that you're not worthy, we need to squash those. And that's where my Tony Robbins training comes in to help you, get across the fire. And that's just picture my 7-year-old. He's now a 19 in university, but he used to do a fire walk with me when he was younger. Number two is vision. Walt Disney's story, started penniless and he built an empire. You guys can do the same. Never think that you can't. It's going to take hard work, but there's a number of key areas that you need to work on. And number one is you have to have that vision in your financial world. What I mean by that is you have to have all your care plans ready, set, and ready to go. and your team's got to be on board of those. I mean, I think we have about 16 different care plans, from an 84, 72, 64, 52, 44, 36, 24. And, then we have our wellness plans, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have quite a few different financial care plans, adult, student, that we just pull out of a file. Organization, everyone's got their duties, their mandates, their checklists. They have their code of conduct, their agreement. So that's really critical, is your organization's got to be set, organized, ready to go. Sales and marketing, that's both internal, external, and social media. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I'm gleaning a lot of this information from a lot of business audits I've done with chiropractors over the last couple weeks. I put in, some postings out. Hey, you want help with your practice? I'll do a business audit. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm shaking my head because a lot of guys are giving away their care. Your per visit's way too low. Your PVA is way too low. Your conversions are way too low. So when you look at the model of how do I build my practice, it is not one thing. It's not just get me new patients, Dr. Mike, because you're going to have this revolving door. And I've seen it over 18 years, 19 years of coaching. It's accumulation of better attraction, conversion, retention, and back-end wellness upsell. So that's really important, guys. You have to have your base set. Your organization has to be set. You have to role play with your team. Your sales and marketing is critical. And then your clinical technology, that's using, say, X-ray and or substation. I love that because I talk about structure and function and beyond pain, beyond range of motion, beyond, all that orthopedic bullshit. You have to get into some sort of objective criteria you can show your patients. And then your systems. That's your day 1, day 2, day 3. The rate to infinity, those have got to be impeccable. When I say impeccable, flawless. I mean, we have a 95% conversion to care. We have a back-end 95% conversion to care. The only reason people don't get on care is money, and that's understandable. And then there are solutions for that. So that's really important, guys. And then if you don't know your numbers, this is key. I asked my doctors this, and 9 out of 10 don't know their numbers. I got on with a couple of mine, a power couple of mine from Quebec, and I'm saying, hey, Francois, what were your conversions? What's your ROI? And he boom, 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 boom. He knew his numbers. I said, fantastic. We're going to tweak this, and this, and we're going to add an extra $250,000 to his practice. And they're all excited. So you got to know your numbers. Now, if you guys don't have your numbers and you don't know what they are, you can actually get a business audit from me. I'm more than happy, client or non-client. I do this with all my clients. I'm more than happy to spend 30 minutes with any non-client. No obligation to coach with me, but let's take a look at your numbers. What's your PVA like? What's your income per adjustment? What's your overhead like? What's your income per visit? That's different between income per adjustment. And then what little shifts can you make in order to shift your practice? So just make a note, Dr. Mike at chiropractic-masters.com. It's Dr. Mike at chiropractic-masters.com. And if you don't or don't know your numbers, I'll send this to you. You look at your year end. This walks you through. There's a second page to this that explains how to crunch these numbers. Once you know your numbers, it is a true kick in the balls, because a lot of doctors come back to me and say, oh, Dr. Mike, wow, I hadn't realized I was only getting 30 per adjustment or 33 when, in the United States, it should be about 50 to 55. In my Commonwealth countries, UK, Australia, Canada, should be around 45, 50. So just give you an idea of your actual income per adjustment. And we want to shift that. Could you imagine, say, $5 different per adjustment? That adds up, guys. And I think you get the idea by shifting your PVA, your income per adjustment, etc. From that, your business audit, you can now set your 5 objectives. This is critical because a lot of doctors will go into what I call a clinical chiropractic setting. They show up, they adjust, they leave. They panic market, they get a little bump in the numbers, they go in, they show up, they leave. You can't do that anymore. You're going to be the 40% who are struggling in practice, who are just dying out there. One way around this is to focus on 5 objectives every quarter from your business audit. So okay, I've got to increase my new patients from 10 to 15 or from 15 to 20. What would an extra 5 new patients per month do? 60, a year. If your case average is 2,000, there's 120,000. I think you guys get the idea. If your conversions are 50%, what do I need to do to bump it up to 95? If my retention, my PVA is like 12, when it should be like 50 or more, how do I shift that up? If I don't have wellness care plans, and I could add 1 wellness care plan per week, I'd say $1,200. There's 60,000 alone in just wellness care plans. If I'm not getting new patients from social media or my website, is not working. If my website's not getting at least one new patient per day, then I'm going to explain to you how you can get that fixed. But I had a doctor today, his website was hacked. He's saying, I need help. Had another doctor over in Ireland, her website is old school. It's not a direct response, badass website that's going to draw and get new patients in. So make sure from your business audit here that your business audit, you know your numbers. And then from this, I will give you 4, 5, 6 things you can do to actually set your 5 objectives. You focus on those 5 every quarter. In a year, you've done 20 objectives. Your practice has resolved. Number 5 is perfect procedures. For those of you who see this is Dr. Minlan Locke. He is a medical doctor in Morrisburg, Ontario, Canada. It's 1933. He's sitting on a turnstile. It's a swivel chair. He's not moving. People are feeding to him. And there's about, 10 different stations here. There's long lineups. He adjusts feet. He's an MD that adjusts feet. He adjusts the feet, takes $1, puts it in the back, swivels to the next, 10, 20 degrees to the next person, and he adjusts their feet. Now, this is I use this as an example because this guy would do 300 to 500 people per day. Now, I would typically do 150 to 250 per day. 150 for me was slow, but my systems allowed me to see 250 full spine. This was $50 an adjustment, and it's anyone can do this. So just remember what you're worth and what your value is. Number 6, guys, and this is actually the number 2 problem. Number 1 is you. Number 2 is team. Number 3 is your new patient machine. So this is important that your team can do, will do, and share the vision. And what I mean by that is you have to have a team that can do it. They have to be competent to do it. I get a lot of, conversations with doctors who complain about their staff members. If your staff members aren't getting trained weekly, if they don't have a mandate, if they're not getting the performance evaluations, if they don't have their agreements done, then that's not their fault, that's your fault. So this is where you have to, 1, select the right people. Can they do it? Are they competent? Do they have the skills? Will they do it? And that's another thing, because some will say they will and others don't. So this is where, unfortunately, you have to hold your team members' feet to the fire. I'm not saying being malicious, but through training, through agreements, through mandates, through checklists, they have to have the ability to do what's necessary for the role. And number 3, do they share the vision? Are they going to help you build that practice to the next level? And that's critical, because never should a team member say, hey, Doc, what can you do for me? Can I have another day off? It's, hey, Doc, yeah, I got it. I'll take care of it. I'm going to do this better than what you think. That's the type of coworker, team member that you need on your practice. So when you resolve this issue, a lot of your issues are going to go. I'm a firm believer that your practice only grows as your weakest team member. It is okay to let people go. And one of the things I recommend to my doctors around the world is have an ongoing file where you're hiring CAs on a regular basis, or at least doing interviews every quarter, and you can keep their resumes in a file, take a picture, get their permission, rate them, maybe 5 being the highest, 1 the lowest, keep the 4s and 5s and keep them in a file. So when that position becomes ready because of growth, or when you have to replace a person, or if a person's being fired, then you can actually pull that person and say, oh, she was a 5, she looked amazing, she had experience. So that's really critical, guys, with regards to titanium teams. Number 7 is train like a freak. And I mean like a freak. I mean, if you want to be faster, you want to be bigger, quicker, you have to train. You guys know this, you're chiropractors. So you know what it's like when you played sports or you worked out. I've been in bodybuilding, working out for years. I'm 53 now, but I always felt my best when I'm working out. Same with your team. If they have accountability and they're trained on scripting, on procedures, they're only going to be much better at their position, like front desk checkout, front desk financials, closing financials, recalls, reactivations, taking care of patients. This list goes on and on. But one thing I've discovered, when I got weak on my training, so too did my team, and things would fall off. And I found myself losing my awareness units. That's that little battery, on your shoulder that says, hey, I only have so many awareness units during my day. I don't want to be focused on my patients and wondering what the front desk is saying. I don't want to be, adjusting and wondering, hey, did that person get a reminder call, or did she do the recalls? That's not your job. That's not, when you're in that adjustment zone, that's your Zen garden, that's your bubble. You want to be focused on adjusting, and that's your team to take over from there. So one of the biggest differences in practice is starting to train weekly. I mean, weekly, like a freak. And when I say like a freak, we train an hour to 2 hours every week. In my Ottawa-based practice, it was 2 hours every Tuesday, 11:30 to 1:30. I then met with my office manager, my PR team. So yeah, I had about roughly 3 hours of team training. But was it worth it? That allowed me to break the 7-figure mark. Now, number 8, I want you to listen to this, guys. This is really important. Gone are the days of pay per visit, and your PVA, your patient visit average, will only be as strong as your average recommendations. So if you're sitting there giving recommendations for 12 with the hope that, hey, they're going to buy another care plan, generally that does not work because people are feeling better and they're gone. So one of the ways around this is to make sure that you do care plans. Now, these care plans that I present are based on objective criteria, structure and function, structural changes in that cervical curve, neurological changes that we use the CLA substation. So I do this on both corrective care and wellness care. Now, if you take a look at the screen here, you're going to see that this is a 44. You can see the schedules there. Now, when you're a client of mine, you get all of this in the library. You can even be a Jetpack member and get this. And what you'll see here is a 44, and that's just 3 for 6, 2 for 6, 1 for 14. That's a 6-month care plan. Excuse me. On average around the world, that works out to roughly about 44 adjustments at, say, $50. It's about $2,400 care plan. Now, most people with or without any insurance can afford that. They really can. You give a one-time option, 10% discount, 3 monthly payments of 5%, or over 6 months. Now, we're going to capture those people before the end of their care. We're going to introduce them to wellness care, at least wellness plan 2. Every 2 weeks is 26 times your fee of $50, $1,300. Same thing, same setup, 95% conversion. Now, there's a system to that, but understand that your PVA, your patient visit average, if you're stuck at 12, just by doing this alone, you've tripled your PVA. Patient education. I did a survey a while ago. Only 15% of DCs are giving a regular weekly doctor's report. I was appalled. So imagine the average person comes in, think chiropractor for low back pain. And they come in and then you make this recommendation. One, you blow them out because their perception and your reality are two diverse polar opposites. Number 2, they don't get the big idea. And 3, if they do start care, your PVA is low. So one of the ways to change that is to shift their paradigm, unbrainwash your patients. We have a day 1 exam. We move them into a day 2 doctor's report. Yes, it works. Yes, there's a script that works. Yes, it takes a strong language, a strong person, and CA to make sure it works. But when you follow this technique that we train on, you're going to convert people to a wellness care plan, like $2,400 and roughly at least a 6-month care plan. Now, if you're a pro at this, you're doing 12 months, fantastic. And I teach 12 months. But worldwide, we've downsized it at 6 months to get a higher conversion, okay? So it doesn't matter if you do a 2-year program. I'm cool with it. The average person needs at least 150 adjustments on average for corrective techniques. Think of braces for the teeth, that we are under adjusting our patients, but the doctor's report allows them to get the big idea. That moves me to the next area, which is marketing. And this is really important that in marketing, guys, and this is where a lot of doctors fall flat. A lot of my doctors I'm seeing around the world are seeing about 10, maybe 12, maybe 15 new patients per month. Now, if you're doing 20, 25, 40, 50, fantastic. But what are your conversions, right? And that's where the doctor's report comes in. This is one of my favorite quotes by Jay Abraham. The key to consistent, profitable, and predictable business growth is marketing. If you're not marketing yourself and growing, then you're dying. And I firmly believe in that. So when we look at marketing, it has to do with multiple pillars. The Parthenon effect, or the pillar effect, is where we can have our practice, which is the roof, and we have a lot of different pillars, internal, external, social media, holding up that roof. So I can go to that corner pillar and I can rip it out, and I can probably take out a few of those pillars, and everything's still going to be standing. Now that's pretty cool because, everything is still standing. Our practice is still growing versus relying on just referrals. What happens if your referrals dry up? What happens if someone gives you a bad review and people stop referring? So this is where you have to have multiple referrals, multiple, pillars, internal, external, and with regards to social media. And this is what it looks like. So what we have here, we have direct response. This is the old school meet and greets, direct mail, internal, like your power workshops, your referrals. Those are important, still critical today. Second tier is internet-based marketing, your websites, your SEO, your social media, your email marketing. And then number three, the third tier is your authority building, mobile responsiveness, podcasts, SMS, text, voice, webinars, funnels, the new messenger chatbot. And that's going to set you aside and distinct. Now, it seems like a lot of work, and there's services out there that can do that, but this is next level where you need to bring your practice to. All right. Now, a lot of this stuff you can get on my marketing calendar. Apologize. This is on my website. You guys go ahead and download this. I gift this to the profession. If you don't have this, guys, this really helps keep you on point. This has been in the process of development for 20 years plus. And what this is everything that we do on a monthly basis, things that we do with regards to themes, social media, workshops, comp exams, networking promos, on the inside of the practice, which month to do what, social media, frequency and content, how often to do it. And then your 8-part blueprint for success at the bottom. That's your quarterly objectives. Okay, what are the 5 things I need to work on this quarter? So I'm gonna write those down the first quarter. Once I'm done those, I'm gonna put a big V beside it, not a check mark, that's complete, V for victory. Like, yeah, man, we got it done. This is Winston Churchill. We conquered, we kicked ass. And then you might only get 3 out of 5 done, so you transfer the other 2 and ask yourself, okay, what 3 more could we add to our second quarter, April, May, and June? What about yourself? That I talk about changing you. So there's a whole checklist on your morning rituals on things to do for team, things for internal marketing that are currently working, external marketing, marketing monitors, things you want to measure and monitor on your marketing and how to get organized and prep. Your website must-haves. I'll talk about that in a second. I'm getting deluged with calls with doctors whose websites are actually just not working, are crashing, and then there's some resources there. But if you study this is my map, my guideline to improving your overall skills, your practice. You're going to see a massive difference in your practice by starting to master this. We used to work a whole weekend at my marketing boot camps on this, but what we decided to do, because doctors, we get started, they got busy, they forgot to do it. I said, screw it, we're just going to give it to you, and I'm going to keep modifying mine every year, so that's the product that you see here. I mean, that's a $100,000 lesson right there, guys. My gift to you, just go download it from the website. For those of you listening on podcast, it's right on the homepage. You'll see the marketing calendar. Download it. You download it as a PDF. You send it to Staples Business Depot and ask for 2x3 engineering print. Black and white, cost you $4 or $5. Put these on your wall at your home. Put them on your war room in your office. Study it. Review it with your team and run with it. All right. That brings me to point number 12 or 11. Point number 11 is a badass website. When I say badass, that is my new company. It's called Badass-Digital. Hard to say that when you're stuffy and you've got a bit of a cold or a flu. And here's the challenge I've seen with a lot of websites. I got frustrated about 5 years ago. A lot of my doctors were saying, Mike, my website's not working. So I started being a researcher and being a marketer. I went and I started to study and research websites. I saw this commonality. Now, this is the homepage of my wife's website. And you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner Google reviews. So she's got like 50 Google reviews, more so than anybody else in our community. We have a new patient exam offer, and she's a beautiful lady, so that's a welcome video. So there's a splash page which allows it to open up. And it's done for a reason. But this is no longer an institutionalized advertisement. It's not about me, the chiropractor. It's about what she can do for them. Now, it's important that your website must reach people, which means it's got to be in the top 3 URLs, definitely the top 5. The top 3 get 85% of the traffic. The top 5 get 95%. So if you're like down below on the first page or second page, forget it. You're wasting your time on your website. You need to engage people. How do we engage? We engage with a direct response offer. So this actually says $200, regular $267 for only $67. It's got social proof with Google reviews, and down below you'll see video testimonials. And you can Google her website, go check it out. And then on top of that, we've got free consult on here. But once you see the website, it's professional, it's clean, it's new. People fall in love with her. So that like and trust is there before they even come in and meet her. And it's like, oh yeah, I already met Dr. Shreen on the website. I'm excited to meet her. And then on top of that, we have the direct response. So the keys to a direct response are two things. One, social proof, Google reviews. So we use what we call a Business Pro Google, Optimized Press or WordPress website, the Business Pro theme. And that allows us to use plugins like the Google review. And then we have a direct response certificate, which gets people to take action. So those two things are critical in any website. And it talks a little bit about her, but mostly the testimonials, mostly the video testimonials, the health passes, the services are down there. But it's not about, her logo is even very small in the top corner. It's all, you see the health pass up there in workshops and services, first visit. It's all about the patient. So this website now, we can reach people, okay, and now we put Google AdWords. We have the top 4 or 5 Google AdWords. We engage people with the offer, with testimonials, with the social proof, and then we convert. And we have opt-in forms and we have lead generators which follow up in an email system. So we're able to convert and follow up with people. Now there's other systems that we use on the follow-up when people do book an appointment. Shreen got one this morning. She knows to call right away. She booked that lady for Friday morning. And that happens every business day. So we get about 20 new patients. Now, I want you to think about what your case average is, guys. That's your PVA, patient visit average, times your income per adjustment. If your PVA is 20 and your income per adjustment is, say, 50, that's $1,000. So if your website is not getting at least 20 a month at $1,000, it's $20,000. That's $250,000 a year that you're missing out. This is how powerful the website is. And this is critical because when you're using social media and you drive all that traffic through social media, which is point number 12, right here, is that people are going to go to your website and they're going to check you out. So this is where, and if you look on the left-hand column, I highlighted like the top 10 there. Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Hootsuite. I use Hootsuite to hit all of those on a weekly basis. You Google AdWords, your chatbot, which is the new messenger, Facebook Messenger. If you're not using those on a daily basis, you're missing out because only 5% of you are actually tapping into social media. So that leaves a huge market. Why? Everyone's going that way. Everyone's going mobile responsive. People are looking for the chiropractor. As a matter of fact, even your websites got to have what's called Alexa schema, which is a voice activation. Hey, Alexa, find a chiropractor near me. And that's important because your website's got to recognize that voice recognition too. So this comes from Peng Joon, who talks about dominating the conversation. Excuse me. So not only are you going to be video happy, convert your videos, use your Canva to make Instagram photo shots, put these on Pinterest, put it on Hootsuite, but you're going to also post these on YouTube, Facebook, Messenger, put it through your email and on your newsfeed, and you're going to do this on a daily basis. So that's what dominating the conversation means, because that person who's out there in chiropractic land on a regular basis is going to be the one that's going to be seen by the public on a regular basis. So that's what we mean by getting out there and dominating the conversation. And if you're behind the social media, guys, you need to get on your horse, okay? I can't emphasize this enough. And when I look at a lot of the business audits, a lot of doctors are missing this big time. So what are your next steps? What do you need to do? You got your 12 steps. Hopefully you've written them all down and you've circled maybe the top 3, 4, 5, or 6. Some of you are going, holy shit, I got to do all 10 or 12. That's okay. Start small, build up. And here's what I recommend for you. What are your next steps? Number 1, if you want to get your systems down to day 1, day 2, day 3, you can join me at Blueprint. Now, I only do Blueprint twice a year. I do it now, and I do it at the end of March. The one coming up now is end of January, 25, 26, 2019, Richmond, Virginia. And that's a 2-day intensive. And we go through your day 1, day 2, day 3 procedures, including marketing. So we're going to cover a lot of the marketing aspects. Now that happens here. It happens at the end of March, the end of September. and that's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. And then we're also doing the Million New Patient Machine, and that happens at the end of March and then the end of May, and that happens in Richmond and Phoenix. So you'll see those on my website. I'll give you directions in a minute. But if you need help with training, that weekend is going to cost you $697. Lunch is included. We'll transport you from the hotel, but that's going to give you an idea of your day one, day two, and what you need to do to improve upon it. If you want to nail your social media, for those of you who've probably already heard that every year I get together with Matt Loop. He's my good friend in Atlanta, Georgia. And Matt and I train once a year at the Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. Now that is this year, April 26th to 28th at the Secrets Vine in Cancun. And we'll go through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, websites, ClickFunnels, webinars, video, Amazon, email. I mean, there's more things that we do, but you have 3 days fully immersed with 2 guys that build 7-figure practices. More information, you go to www.ucam.fun. UCAM stands for the Ultimate Caribbean Adventure Mastermind. This is number 6, and we're really excited to have this. It's 50% sold out. So if you're interested in a vacation mastermind, that's the one to come to. If you're looking, you can't travel, and maybe you're just starting out like a student, and you want to go into my library, we have a Jetpack library. That's 18 years of library that's put into one library, 6 categories. You see those at the top here. And you can go and you can self-train. Now you go in there for 14 days. All of this is on my website. $67 a month thereafter. Is no commitment, drop out anytime. But you know, all the procedures are there. This is a training library a lot of my doctors use. Now, if you're at a point where you want to get coached with somebody who's actually doing it, and you know, just to dispel any rumors, I still run my wife's practice. I'm in there. I train the staff. I do the social media. I help with, you know, doctor's reports and things like that. So I'm pretty well doing everything except adjusting. I just don't have the time to do it. I don't have the desire to bend over 600-700 people a week anymore. I did that for 22 years. My purpose, my vision, my mission is to help more doctors serve more people, and we're doing that. You saw at the beginning of this Power Talk. But if you're looking at adding 100, 150, 200,000 to your practice per year, I'm doing what's called the New Year, New You coaching campaign. And up to the end of January 31st, 2019, I'm opening 12 spots only to 12 doctors to join the Inner Circle. Now, the Inner Circle is the next step above Jetpack. So it's the gold level. We call it Inner Circle now. And you'll receive all 6 of my products. That has a value of $6,777. That includes the new dinner workshop. So the dinner workshop produces 10 new ones a month, or for every workshop you do, minimum 10, not 20, 30, 40 new ones. There's also a ticket to UCAM. So you can come down to the UCAM with Matt and myself, and you can also get a ticket to Prosperity. Prosperity this year is in Washington. The theme is called Drive Traffic to your practice. It's 14 people. All it is all about the new patient machine. That's our focus this year, okay? So that's what the products look like. Give you a closer view of those. That offer is good till the end of January. So all you have to do is go to my website. You'll see the pop-up. Go to the blog section. All that information is in the blog section as well. But there's the 6 products that you see, the UCAM tickets and Prosperity tickets there. And then my gift to you, for those of you who, you know, say, hey, Dr. Mike, thanks, that was great information, and you want to go on your merry way, you've got the calendar you can download, and I highly recommend that you download the Pisiform code. Now, the Pisiform code is only $697. It's an ebook, but it goes through 67 split tests and observations to the 7-figure practice. It's really a lot of secrets I'm sharing tonight, other secrets that we put into this. I'm rewriting it as a hardcover book, and that's going to come out probably March. There's 101 split tests and observations. You follow that, your practice grows, okay? But the coaching really keeps you accountable, gives you the little minor ins and outs on how to make 2019 your best year ever. So yeah, that's it, guys. That is the end of that presentation. And all that information that you need is right on my website at chiropractic-masters.com. All you have to do is go to that website. All that information is there. And, you know, what can I say? I mean, these are the 12 steps any chiropractor can use. I can probably think of 24 steps. I can probably think of 36, but I think these are the major ones. And for the doctors who are listening with me tonight, if you want to, if you have a question, I'm going to keep this open for another 5 minutes because I promised my wife, because it's getting late, that we're going to do supper tonight, that I'd be done in 30 minutes, and it's 35 minutes, which I find is a good average. For those of you who have a question, you want to pop a quick question in the chat box down below, go ahead and click on it. We'll answer those in the next minute or two. For those of you who don't have questions, you've got 12 steps. Take action steps on these, guys. Even if you start implementing things like team training and the care plans, doctor's report, the basics, getting back to the basics, the anniversary exams and reports. That's something that's missed by a majority of chiropractors. Haven't figured out why, but the easiest thing to do in your practice. And you'd see tremendous growth as well. So what you want to do is circle 3, 4, 5, 6 things, put them in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or if you only have 3 there, and start, put those down as maybe your quarterly objectives. Hey, I'm going to work on these 3 from Dr. Mike and 2 others. You may start implementing maybe some Facebook news feeds. I'm going to start having some team training. Whatever you guys want, that's where you're going to take it. So I have one chat here. It's from Bill Parker. What was the recommendation for website development and hosting? The website recommendation, here's what you want to do. If you guys have a website, if you send an email to me, actually, if you go to Badass Digital, let me just come back to that. If you go to Badass-Digital, okay? Badass-Digital.com is my website development company. And if you put in your name, email, and your URL for your website, what I'm going to do is do what we call a free website wash. I'll actually wash your website, and I'll look at how it's ranking, how it's working for you. Now from that, I'll give you a report on what to do to fix it or to build a new one. So I'll give you an example today. We had a lady that had a website. She goes, I get 1 new patient per month. And I looked at her website. It's probably 20, 30 years old. She doesn't have the money to build a new one. A new 10-page runs you $59.97. However, 3 or 4 new patients is going to pay for it. But what we were able to do is fix it for her to make it look nice. It's going to cost about $2,000. So you have 2 options: fix or new. Okay. And if you go to hfcwellness.com, you'll see my wife's website. So badass-digital.com, and just drop your name, email, and your URL in there, and you'll be able to get a free website wash. All right. Looks like it, guys. So I want to thank everybody for being on with me tonight, and thank you for taking the time to join me on the 12 steps to building 2019 as a profitable year for you. Follow these 12 steps and you will see growth in your practice. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you on the next Master Talk or Power Talk. Chat with you soon.